Hello guys, unpopular opinion. Gospel music should not be listened to more than twice or thrice. Here's my reasoning behind it. You are not the target audience for gospel music because gospel music is meant to worship and uplift God. So meaning God is the actual audience of this music. So in a sense, the moment you understand the lyrics of that song and you can sing it to uplift God and to worship Him, you no longer need the song on your playlist. That's just my understanding. However, there are those who usually play gospel music in the background of maybe when they're working, just to kind of create a certain ambience of worship. And I am not judging, but I am of the opinion that humanity is not the target audience of gospel music. The whole intention of gospel music is for you to understand it and use it to worship God. Now, I told this to a believer, a fellow believer, and they behaved as though they were offended. But it is true. And then this person continued to introduce another discussion and stated that the reason why secular musicians are so wealthy compared to gospel musicians is because the secular musicians write music that conforms to the patterns of this world. And since the Bible states that the devil is the god of this world, then the devil seeks to uplift them and give them numbers and many followers so that, they can deceive as many people as possible, and by doing so they become wealthier than gospel musicians. But this is stupid on so many levels because I am not in any way denying that the devil has influence on modern music. He does. But here we have one artist who's writing music that appeals to believers in a sense of in wanting them to invoke worship to God. And on the other hand, we have a secular artist who has carefully sat down, understood his audience, and written music, produced it, and sang it in a way that is entertaining to the masses so that they can, he can appeal to them. So just going off of logic, yeah, the entertainer, aka the secular musician, is gonna gather more followers just by that logic alone. Why? Because he's actually intentionally writing music that appeals to the people. Compare that to the gospel musician who's appealing to believers and wanting to invoke a spirit of worship in them using that particular song. So this is just to speak to my Christian brethren who seek to blame the devil for everything. Sometimes we do have something called logic, and not everything is the devil's fault. And I am sorry for sounding like I'm the devil's advocate, but sometimes we really need to use our brains and understand that the way this world works, it works because there is also an aspect of nature called human nature, and it drives a lot of things. So we need to understand it as well. So that being said, have a nice one, and I'll see you in the next one.